Hello, it's Chandler Klebs, the anti-choice determinist. Recently, I've been posting transcripts from George Ortega's show, Exploring the Illusion of Free Will, on my anti-choice determinist blog. And this guy apparently saw my blog, this guy named Marvin Edwards, and he's been commenting on the recent ones, trying to explain that we do have free will. It's interesting here because he's obviously compatibilist. He's basically trying to say stuff like, well, you have free will if no one's holding a gun to your head forcing you to do something, and I asked him, like, basically, are you saying that you have free will if you're doing what you want? And he said, in short, yes. And here's the thing, I mean, look, if he wants to define free will as doing what you want or doing something with nobody standing there telling you that you have to do it or be killed or something, well, if he wants to define it that way, well then sure, he's right in the sense that, yeah, there's things that we do when we're alone, things that we do when we're by ourselves, and things that we only do because we're coerced by other people. So in that sense, he's right. But here's what I think the problem is. I think that the psychological need for compatibilists to redefine free will in such a way is because they have a need to believe in free will, and I'm still trying to exactly understand it. It's sort of, I mean, I look at it as, you know, you don't change the meaning of something just by redefining it, although there are people who say that nothing has any meaning and it's all just subjective or whatever. But it's sort of like, you know, like when a Christian and a pantheist talk about God, they're not talking about the same thing. When a libertarian or determinist talk about free will, they're saying one thing. They're talking about a free will that can override all prior causes. And libertarians believe in it and determinists don't. But compatibilists are talking about some other definition of free will, usually along the lines of, oh, well, I'm doing what I want, so therefore my will is free, which doesn't really work because, first of all, even though it's a redefinition of the problem and ignores the conflict between free will and determinism entirely. But see, here's the thing. There's all kinds of things that we want to do, but we are unable to do them, not because there's a person holding a gun to our head, but simply we don't have the ability. Some people can't sing. Some people are not musically talented. Some people are not mathematically talented. Some people are just unable to do certain things or to believe certain things. And this is why I think compatibilism is really bad. And here's why compatibilism is bad. Because here, when compatibilists go around saying, oh, there's no problem, we have free will, and, well, then the problem is by doing so, they are basically promoting the other kinds of free will that people believe in. You know, some people say that, like, the kind of free will that I'm refuting is libertarian free will. And I want to make that clear, the idea that you can act independently of your genetics and conditioning. Basically, your genes that determine your preferences and the way your brain works, and then all the things you've been taught through all your experiences in life and whatever teachers in school or religion or whatever tell you, you know. So, I mean, that's crazy. And another type is that you could have done otherwise in any given situation in the past. And if you could have done otherwise, well, why didn't you? And pretty much, yeah, something would have had to be different in the past in order for anything else to be different. And we do the best we can, but see, here's the thing is that, like, I think that compatibilists have this fear that if people quit believing in free will, that all chaos will break loose and we'll all become criminals, which of course shows that they don't know about the hedonic imperative. We know that there are consequences, there are effects for our actions, and that's why we avoid things. All of us, we seek pleasure and avoid pain, and so this is actually something that overrides any other beliefs we might hold. People ignore this, but they can't. It's when they are in pain, they try to get out of pain. They try to get away from whatever's causing them pain. But here's the thing: is that like some people try to say that there's a difference between external compulsion and internal compulsion, that our will is inside of us, and that because it's us choosing something with our will, that means it's a free will. Well, the problem is that everything internal, everything that we remember, everything we believe, everything about anything comes from external sources. And that's the thing to understand. I mean, seriously, it doesn't matter. Whatever your position about any political or religious or philosophical topic, I'm serious, anything. Why do you believe this rather than that? Like, if you believe the earth is flat, well, there's got to be a reason for that. And if you believe that the earth is round, there's got to be a reason for that. And this is interesting because I think what people are missing when they try to believe that they have this internal compulsion that somehow that's free from coercion by other people, but I think it's just because they're brainwashed. Like, seriously, I've gotten to the point where I realize that everything I'm doing comes from somewhere, and people see TV commercials advertising something, and then it compels them to buy certain things. People don't understand it, but people are basically hypnotized. They are conditioned to believe certain things and do certain things. And I would say one of the biggest examples of explaining how people's will isn't free is holidays. Yes, seriously, holidays. When we're talking Christmas or Easter or Valentine's Day or even Groundhog Day or Independence Day or Thanksgiving or Halloween, you look at these holidays and look at the traditions that people do. People, when they do their traditions of giving people gifts at Christmas or going to strangers' doors and asking for candy on Halloween, when people do this kind of stuff, they are displaying their lack of free will, because they would not, all by themselves, with no external compulsion, do these things. Why do they do this? Traditions like this show me that our will is not free, and that you are conditioned by your culture, the whole society, as well as the religious beliefs and all the political stuff. You are conditioned to behave a certain way. And see, what's interesting is, like with me, now I don't like holidays. Like, I don't like holidays, nor do I actually even celebrate holidays. I don't make a big deal out of it. But some people would say, well, you made a choice of your own free will not to celebrate holidays like other people do. And I'm like, well, not of a free will, maybe of my will, which is entirely compelled by external things. But I don't like holidays because I think the traditions are stupid. I seriously, like, come on. I don't need candy, so why would I, even if I was still a kid, go asking strangers for candy? You know, and I don't think if you want to be thankful, you don't need to be thankful at Thanksgiving. You can be thankful, I guess, any time of year if thankfulness is your thing, and to be, you know, to spend time with family and exchange gifts or whatever. I mean, you don't necessarily have to do that at a certain time of year like people do at Christmas, you know. What I think is, I think that I just like days and calendars, months, like they don't really mean that much to me. That's just the way I am. I never really cared. That was just kind of the way I was, and it's not like I made a conscious choice all of a sudden for no reason, like, oh, I'm just gonna not do holidays. I just didn't, because I didn't care about people and their holidays, you know? And I happen to not like 4th of July in America because fireworks are noisy and they scare me. And so that's kind of, that just shows you, you know, we are all compelled by our genetics, you know, and the way we are, and by what other people do. But just look at how robotic people are. Look how they are just following what everybody else is doing. They're part of the crowd, and I'm just kind of outside of that. I'm very non-traditional, and I see that it's just because I got sick of certain things. But we don't have a will free of causality. Sure, we have a will, and we don't need to think that our will is free from prior causes to know we have a will.